Hello and welcome. We are here at the NASA Deep Space Food Challenge. Thank you for joining us for this live stream event. I'm Jonathan Deal, your host, and we are here to find out the winners of the Phase 2 of Deep Space Food Challenge. Now, this is part of the NASA Centennial Challenges, which is bridging the innovation gap for NASA and the nation for challenges just like this. Now, to find out more about this challenge, we're going to play a short video.
Recipe, noun. A set of instructions for making or preparing something, especially a food dish. Sounds simple enough? Well, there's a lot more to it than just putting some ingredients together. Hi, this is Alton Brown. In order to successfully create a recipe, say a grilled cheese sandwich, you'll need some bread and cheese, of course, a refrigerator to keep the cheese fresh, a pan to cook it in, a source of energy to heat the pan, a knife to spread some butter, a spatula to flip it, spices scoured from the ends of the earth. You get the idea. And how about the food in our recipe? Where did you get it? How did it get there? Where did it come from? What sources were needed to grow it, produce it, package it, preserve it? It's a complicated and intricate network of processes to get a simple grilled cheese sandwich on the table. But Earthbound humans have done a pretty good job of putting systems in place to get it all done. But what about spacebound humans? Difficulty and distance aside, astronauts on the International Space Station eat quite a healthy diet of fresh and freeze-dried foods thanks to semi-regular shipments originating from Earth. But to boldly go where no human has gone before, we'll need new and better ways to eat in space. Future astronauts on, say, a trip to Mars will spend years away from Earth, and that means no quick trips to the grocery store. They'll have to bring just about everything they'll need with them. Just like on Earth, when we prepare food in space, we need not only the food ingredients themselves, but we also need energy, water, and other materials to transform the ingredients into nutritional and tasty meals that astronauts will actually want to eat. So how do we reinvent food production systems so that they are sustainable and work in space? Well, that's where you come in. NASA and the Canadian Space Agency launched competitions, the Deep Space Food Challenge, and they're offering prize money for anyone who can come up with novel ways to keep our astronauts fed on future long-duration space exploration missions. What's really cool, aside from feeding interplanetary humans, is that these space-based food solutions could have transformative impacts on Earth's food systems, helping to resolve food insecurities and scarcities across our own planet. The Deep Space Food Challenge. Pretty big stuff.
Amazing. We are back here at Smart Design at the Brooklyn Navy Yard in Brooklyn, New York. It's part of the NYCxDESIGN Festival. And we're here to make some exciting announcements. And with me to do that is Dane Goebel, co-founder of the Methuselah Foundation, and Angela Herblay, project manager for NASA's Deep Space Food Challenge. Now, Dane, what is this event all about and what are you most excited about?
Well, this event is to celebrate innovation. We have so many teams here from all over the world who have worked incredibly hard over not just the last 2 years of this competition, but however many years of work were required to get them to this point. So we're here to have them all come together, share their work with the public, and the whole thing is about space food, right? Space food, obviously for space, but also for terrestrial application.
Now, Angela, you've done these challenges before, but what makes this one so unique?
So this challenge is unique. It's the first challenge of its kind that NASA has done in partnership with the Canadian Space Agency. So we have friends from the Canadian Space Agency here today. We have run parallel challenges, and the Canadian Space Agency actually announced their winners a couple weeks ago, and all 4 of those winning teams are here with us today. So it's really exciting to have them here, able to collaborate with them in person and meet everyone. So we're excited.
Now, Dane, why did you decide to partner with NASA on this? And I guess tell us a little bit more about what this is about.
Sure. So we decided to partner with NASA because we did it before, and they're good partners. So we worked with them on the Vascular Tissue Challenge, which is about creating microvascular tissue, right, for whole organ engineering. And so a couple of years ago, they came to us and asked us to help out with the food challenge, which in general was like a little bit out of field for what we normally do. But once we thought about it, it made perfect sense because it's all about no supply chain biologics production. It lays the groundwork for really so many different things.
Yeah, that was my next question. I mean, how does this help shape the future of food?
Well, I think we all saw in the last couple of years the impact that a supply chain breakdown can have. And so we all got to experience what, everybody experiences if they live in a place where food is scarce. It's, there's no grocery store nearby, or what happens when something goes wrong there. And so this really is a way of kind of thinking about food production for first, at scale, maybe food production from first principles. So you're talking about closed loop systems that have to be about as efficient as they can possibly get. They have to produce food that human beings actually want to eat and keeps them healthy. So this is really kind of like thinking about food from first principles, almost like, it's like the agricultural revolution, like 2.0, just highly miniaturized.
Yeah, sounds like these technologies have just limitless applications here on Earth, but I guess what about in space?
So a lot of the same, or actually many of the same criterion, confinements, and guardrails that are for these Earth applications that Dane just talked about, we've got those for space as well. So you think about a food system that needs to go on a transit vehicle, that needs to travel somewhere to another planet, to the moon and beyond. It needs to be compact. It needs to use limited resources. It needs to produce acceptable and nutritious food, and also a variety of those foods as well. So these teams that are here today are working towards that. They've really made some big accomplishments today, and we're very excited to share this announcement today with everybody here.
Now, you're probably wondering what this is behind us right here. We're not in a mock-up of the International Space Station, but this is actually one of our finalists today, Interstellar Lab. And we actually have the CEO of Interstellar Lab with us today to tell us a little bit more about this. This is Barbara Belfisi. Go ahead and come on. So what are we looking at here?
Well, it's called a nucleus. Nucleus is a system that is composed of 9 quarks, each quark being a cube like this. Inside each system, we recreate different climatic conditions to grow a variety of foods. So it's been designed using those basic principles of, minimum resources, maximum output, and no waste. So we are combining different cultivars. So we have microgreens, vegetables, but we also have insects and mushrooms. So the whole idea was to use the CO2 from the insects and mushrooms to feed the plants, and to use the non-edible part of the plants to feed back the insects and use the substrates for the mushrooms. And all of that creating a closed loop system where we can really optimize space, but also resource utilization.
So I guess tell me through the process of why you decided to approach the challenge like this with this type system.
Well, okay, so it's a good question. The idea first was to design a system that is modular and that can scale. So it means that we can add different more quarks, so to build something that is bigger. Then the idea is, like, if you want to optimize food production, you need to really control the climate and the system. So if you want to have a diverse diet, you need different systems to grow different type of species. So that's how we come up with a system with different modules and different quarks to really optimize the climate inside and the use of the resource, so you can grow multiple species. But also the vision was, how do we close the loop? How do we make sure we don't have to bring, CO2 or oxygen into space to actually make this whole system work? And how do we get the water back and reuse it and refill it? So it was really designed like inspired by Earth, trying to recreate a mini Earth ecosystem with the mycelium and the insect and the plants, but compartmentalizing everything so we can make sure it's safe actually to bring in space.
That is fascinating. And unfortunately, we're actually going to speak with some more of our teams later, but I want to thank you very much for joining us. And now, the moment we've been waiting for, we're going to actually go to somebody announcing the awards now. I want to introduce Denise Morris, Program Manager for NASA Centennial Challenges, who is going to announce the awards for us today. Denise?
So now for the fun part. We're going to start with our international winning teams, who also will be invited to advance their technologies into phase 3 of the challenge. First international winner is Enigma of the Cosmos, Melbourne, Australia. This team created an adaptive growing system to support plants' natural growth cycles and increase efficiency. Our second winner is Macarena of Gothenburg, Sweden. They developed a system that uses a combination of microalgae and fungi to produce a microprotein. And our final international winner is Solar Foods of Finland. So Solar Foods created a system that uses gas fermentation to produce a single cell protein. And now the exciting part for our US winners that will each receive $150,000 from NASA. We have our first winner is Air Company of Brooklyn. Air Company developed a system and processes for making food from air, water, electricity, and yeast. Our second US winner is Interstellar Labs of Merritt Island, Florida. Interstellar created a modular bioregenerative system for producing fresh microgreens, vegetables, mushrooms, and insects. Our third US winning team is Colonel Deltec of USA. Cape Canaveral, Florida. Congratulations. They developed a system for cultivating mushroom-based foods. Our fourth US winning team is Team Nolux of Riverside, California. Nolux created a solution that mimics the photosynthesis that happens in nature to produce plant and mushroom-based foods. And our final and fifth winner is Team Sated. Sated is the safe appliance, tidy, efficient, and delicious of Boulder, Colorado. They developed a space cooking appliance that would allow astronauts to prepare a variety of meals from ingredients that have super long shelf lives.
Hey, we're here at Smart Design at the Brooklyn Navy Yard in Brooklyn, New York, and we've just got done announcing our Phase 2 winners for the Deep Space Food Challenge. Now, we announced our international winners and we announced our United States winners, and there's something very unique about this challenge particularly. And to tell us more about that is Denise Morris, Program Manager for NASA Centennial Challenges, and a Project Manager for the Deep Space Food Challenge, Angela Herblay. Denise?
Thank you, Jonathan. Yes, we're really excited at NASA to have the Canadian Space Agency, who ran a parallel competition to our Centennial Challenge. This was a first for us. So with that, I'm going to have Angela tell you a little bit more about the teams.
Thank you. Yes, and as Denise and Jonathan said, we had the Canadian teams here with us at the Brooklyn Navy Yard at Smart Design, and we're very excited that they could join us today. So we want to recognize and congratulate Astro Yeast Microfarm, Canada Goose, Cricket Transformation System, and EcoAtion. So congratulations to those Canadian teams for being Phase 2 finalists, and also thank you to Conrad Ziedler for joining us today and representing Canadian Space Agency. So thank you again for being here, and congratulations to everybody.
So congratulations to all of our winners. Now let's check in with Jonathan, who's with one of the winners in the test kitchen.
Thank you. And we are here with a special guest in the Smart Design Test Kitchen, here with Ralph Fritchie. And tell us what you do at NASA and how you're involved in this challenge.
Hi, thank you for the introduction. So my role is I'm the Spacecraft Production and Exploration Food Systems Project Manager for NASA, and I'm based out at the Kennedy Space Center. And part of my involvement with the challenge goes way back to the beginning. I was basically there when we came up with the idea for the challenge, kind of helped set the rules, been there to lay the framework for the challenge, and now I'm seeing it through this second round, which is really awesome, seeing all these people, these ideas actually come together. It's been great.
So, these technologies obviously have limitless applications. Tell us, what does this mean for the next 20 years as far as, these technologies in space?
20 years from now, it's going to be a challenge. I think when it comes to looking that far out in the future, which is not very far from our roadmaps, that we'll be looking at crop systems as the likely highest candidate to make it. We look at some of the other concepts that are coming out there, though. We want to see those get developed and really make sure that they can perform and live up to what the expectations are. And then we'll look for places along that roadmap to introduce them into the food system.
Now, I know we're all eager to hear about phase 3 of this challenge. Now, I guess what can you share about that with us today?
So I think that what I'll share with you today as we start planning for phase 3 is what you're seeing here are the competitors coming together and one time going through and setting up their system and showing us the output of what can come up with it. When we start talking about deploying these systems on exploration type missions, we're talking about having to do this repeatedly. So we're going to be looking for repeated functionality of their concepts and to look at the food safety aspects of it over time, because these systems are going to have to be cleaned and maintained, and the produce that comes out of them is going to have to be healthy and safe for the astronauts to consume. So it's going to be the repeatability aspect.
Okay, so we actually have some of the food here, which has been the biggest hit today at this event. Some of the food from all of our competitors have made today from all the finalists. And I believe we may have talked Ralph into being a taster for us today.
It was easy because this is after lunchtime. I'm ready to eat. I'm the one who's lucky.
So he's going to taste this for us to see if, maybe this may be someday used in space. And we actually have one of our winners here with us today. We'd like to join us. This is Team Colonel Deltec.
Yes.
And if you'd like to join me over here, what's your name?
Miguel
Okay.
Neumann. Hi, I'm Miguel Neumann. Thank you for having me. I mean, I am absolutely delighted that we actually have won the phase 2. This is amazing for our team. All the guys, all the scientists are really happy. I mean, there has been a lot of hard work to get the burgers and the cheese, and we hope that we're going to be seeing them in space soon.
So tell me, what exactly are we looking at here?
So what you have in there are several applications of a fungi-based food. So it's versatile enough that we have used it to make micro cheese, burgers based on fungi, and small chicken nugget likes made with fungi as well. The only thing that is not made of fungi is the lettuce in there and the tomatoes.
I see. So I guess, Ralph, would you like to give it a try?
If I'm being turned on, I'm going to go.
And
These are the chicken nuggets, right? Hope I don't make them faster.
So while he's doing that, can you tell us a little bit about your approach to the challenge, why you decided to employ this method?
So there is something that we quite like about fungi. It just grows really quick. It's very sustainable. It can be adapted to a very compact environment. And we have already found a way of making it work both on Earth and space. So it fulfills the goals of having something that is extremely nutritional, that can have the variety that a crew needs on space for long-term missions, and that can be deployed in a variety of environments. So hopefully we can bring variety into the diet and make things easier for the trips to Mars. Year and a half on a spaceship, you want to make sure you have variety of food.
Fantastic. And congratulations to you. Thank you for speaking with us today.
Please.
Thanks a lot.
Really happy of being here. And I need to say again, thank you to the NASA team. The team and all our scientists are delighted with this. We couldn't be happier.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys.
Now we have more food here that our finalists have made today. And I think we can talk Ralph into trying a few more, and he doesn't have to be persuaded too much because this food is high tech, but it's also delicious. So we have another one of our winners here with today, I believe. This is Team Sated. And tell me your name, sir.
Hi, John. It's Jim Sears. And so excited to be here. Yeah, real thrill.
So can you tell me exactly what we're looking at here?
So this the Sated device allows you to cook centrifugally. So inside this device, we have a rotor that's hollow. That's a cooking rotor. You put food inside, it spins inside this shell, and we create foods that have this kind of a circular aspect to them. And So it's all temperature controlled. It's super safe. No way to mess up cooking. No way to create smoke or even burn your food here. But delicious foods, from omelets to shepherd's pie to pizza to rice. We make pretty much anything in here.
I know that will be good news for the astronauts on the station and future astronauts that'll be traveling through deep space. So what we're looking at here eventually becomes pizza here. And I don't know if we can convince Ralph maybe to try some of the pizza, but it looks like real pizza. It feels like real pizza. Now, I guess the true test of whether it tastes like pizza.
Tastes like pizza.
And so tell us a little bit about your thought process and how you approach the challenge with this particular model.
You bet. Well, I started several years ago actually working on a technique for smelting ore on asteroids and manufacturing in zero G. But that was a dirty process in my lab, so I switched to food, which is like the greatest thing an engineer can ever do, is to make a machine that makes food, especially pizza. And so the thought process was actually to make a machine that would create the most creative opportunities for chefs in space, so that making food in space becomes one of the reasons you go there. Not to eat backpacking food, but to eat really good food.
I see. Well, obviously there's lots of delicious foods here. We could probably be eating all day, but I'd like to thank you so much for joining us today, and congratulations.
And thank you so much to NASA, and thank you to my family for, supporting me through the years of working on this. I have to do it to my brother and my sister and my cousin and my wife and my kids and my friends. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks. I know there's so many people that want to thank people today, that so much hard work has gone into this for so many years. And I know everybody's really excited about what's going to be going on in phase 3. So stay tuned for more about that. And from NASA, on behalf of NASA, the Methuselah Foundation, and all of our partners who's been part of this challenge, we are signing off from the Smart Design Kitchen here at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. Thank you for joining our live stream today.